native house, President Kim Il-sung was born and spent his early days. President Kim Il-sung was born here on April 15, 1912. April 15, 1912, at the time our country was under the Japanese rule, so from his childhood, President Kim Il-sung experienced the hard living condition of the Korean nation and made up his mind to devote himself for the liberation of the country. Here we can see the pictures of President grandfather and grandmother. Grandfather, grandmother, before liberation, in this house did farming. In those days, they led a very poor life, but all the family members loved the country very much. So grandfather at the time said it was the only way for a man who lost his country to fight against the Japs. So they offered many children for the struggle. Our present father, mother, his younger brother, his uncle, all left here for the liberation of the country. When President Kim Il-sung waged the struggle in China, grandfather, grandmother still here did farming. After the liberation, grandfather, grandmother in this house met our President Kim Il-sung. Below pictures shows the emotional meeting of President after 20 years of separation. President Kim Il-sung, during the struggle for 20 years, missed so much his native house. But after liberation, President Kim Il-sung, even though he returned to his career, he didn't visit his native house. At the time in this country, everything was destroyed by the Japs. So for building up on your country, President Kim Il-sung spent very busy days. After 2 months, he could have a chance, but he was very humble. Without any news, President Kim Il-sung arrived here. When President Kim Il-sung arrived here, grandfather, grandmother heard the news that their grandson had returned. Grandmother rushed out of brushed gate of the house and flung herself into his arms and said, "You're back at last. Where have you left your father and mother?" She sobbed and sobbed at the time. Our President Kim Il-sung also missed so much his parents, who couldn't return to Korea after liberation. So President Kim Il-sung said to our generations, "It is easy to lose one's country, but very difficult to regain it." So we remember his important instruction: to defend the nation is the most important task for us. Even after liberation, grandfather, grandmother in this house did farming. Grandfather 84, grandmother 83 all passed away in this humble house. And here we can see the picture of President Kim Il-sung. The middle picture of President Kim Il-sung when he was 13 years old in 1925. His father, Mr. Kim Hyung-jik, his mother, Mrs. Kang Ban-seok. His brother at the time was an outstanding leader of anti-Japanese national liberation movement in this country. He thought 1 or 2 men couldn't liberate the fatherland. For the liberation, the whole Korean nation should be mobilized. This work couldn't be achieved in 1 or 2 days, so someone should have high aim to liberate the fatherland. So, President Kim Il-sung from his childhood received most patriotic and revolutionary education from his father and mother. So, President Kim Il-sung, when he was 4 years old, he wrote on that humble desk Korea's independence by himself. President Kim Il-sung witnessed his father's arduous struggle. His father even arrested by the Japs 2 times and suffered most cruel torture. Because of that, at the age of 32 in China, passed away. His mother, also 40 years old, passed away during the struggle in China. So President Kim Il-sung, when he was 13 years old, he heard the news that his father arrested by the Japs again. He gave up studying and went to China after his father for the struggle for the liberation of the country. And here we can see the picture of President, uncle, his younger brother, and his cousin. His uncle, at the age of 31 years old, passed away because of cruel torture by the Japs in Japanese prison. And his younger brother, also 19 years old, because of the Japs in the China during the struggle. And his cousin, also 30 years old, because of cruel torture by the Japs. Many family members left this house for the struggle, but only a President Kim Il-sung returned to his native house. This family tradition is laughing for country, laughing for nation, laughing for people. And here we can see the tools used by the family members through generations. Farming tools. Even after liberation, grandfather did farming, saying that generation family should do more work, then the country would be strong and the people would be better. And here we can see the middle one is a spinning wheel, next is the loom. And here we can see the straw mats. The long straw mat used by President Kim Il-sung after the liberation. When he visited here, the house was under repairing condition. So the family members prepared good condition house for President Kim Il-sung. But he said, "Grandfather, I returned to my house. I will sleep here." President Kim Il-sung didn't like any special treatment as the leader of a nation. Only for the people, for the country, for growing generations. He did his best. So we call our president our father. And here we can see the tool. That is a noodle press. And next is the loom used for keeping cotton. And here we can see the jars used for keeping kimchi. You know kimchi? Yeah. You love? Yeah, I love kimchi. And on the shelf we can see the second one, that is the water jar used by President Kim Il-sung, the mother, before liberation. And here we can see the jars used for keeping bean paste. You know bean paste? You don't know? In Korean, toja, 된장. You know that? Yeah. Still now, Korean women prepared bean paste by themselves. So the jars are very precious goods for the Korean women. When President Kim Il-sung, the great-grandmother at the time, wanted to buy the jar for keeping bean paste, but she had a little money. With that money, she couldn't buy the perfect jar. So she bought like this misshapen jar at the bargain. But she said this shape could not spoil the taste of bean paste inside it. And the day would surely come here when they could have broken beside it and to tell the sad story about it. The day has come here. Now it is 144 years, very long history, very precious relic for us. And that is the summer house used by the family members. And here we can see the kitchen. At the time, 12 family members had lived here, very big family. You can see the utensils, very poor family, very humble family. This house originally was owned by the landlord. This was for the grave keeper's house. But even though the family members led a very hard life, all the family members loved the country and the people very much. So President Kim Il-sung was born here. This house has become very precious house for the Korean nation. Now, shall we go?